Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're getting into something that's literally the lifeblood of visual communication. We're talking about the core chemistries powering modern large format printing. Whether you're running a massive print shop, managing a fleet of machines, or you're just a total tech nerd like me, understanding these inks, solvent, UV, and latex is absolutely crucial. It turns out to be the ultimate key to optimizing your output, reducing waste, and, at the end of the day, safeguarding your profitability.
But hey, before we get completely lost in the heavy chemistry, let's just take a step back and ask a really basic question. What truly drives the modern large format print revolution? I mean, we see these massive, eye-catching vehicle wraps, those stunning architectural wallpapers, and vibrant retail displays every single day, right? But the success of these huge applications actually comes down to something you can barely even see with the naked eye: microscopic drops of ink and exactly how they interact with the world around them.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today. First, the large format landscape. Second, we'll meet the inkjet contenders. Third, choosing your perfect match. Fourth, controlling the print environment. And finally, number 5, optimizing workflow and finishing.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the large format landscape, from vehicle wraps to architectural wallpapers.
So, by definition, large format printing is all about producing prints that are significantly larger than your standard desktop or sheet-fed machines. We're talking about handling continuous roll-to-roll substrates and flatbeds that can be several feet wide, actually sometimes way wider than that. But the real magic here, it's in the print heads. Over the last 20 years or so, piezoelectric and thermal inkjet heads have evolved so dramatically. They can now deposit ultra-fine droplets as small as 1.5 picoliters. To put that into perspective, that's basically microscopic. It's absolutely mind-blowing, and it's exactly what enables those seamless color transitions you see on everything from giant highway billboards to high-end fine art prints.
Moving right along to Section 2, meet the inkjet contenders, solvent, UV, and latex.
So when we look at these inkjet contenders, you kind of have to think of them not as competing for one single best ink title, but as highly specialized tools in your toolkit. Let's start with the traditional heavyweight: solvent and eco-solvent inks. This is the legacy powerhouse of the industry, and it's famous for an incredibly wide color gamut and just stunning vibrancy. The thing that makes solvent so unique is that it literally bites into the media. The ink binds with and actually penetrates the substrate itself. Because of that, it maintains this incredible amount of stretch. If you're doing deep, complex vehicle wraps on cast vinyls, solvent is super forgiving. But yeah, there's a catch. Solvent requires up to 24 to 48 hours of gassing off time. Basically, the solvents have to completely evaporate before you can laminate it. Plus, the older formulations have some pretty strong chemical odors and high VOCs, volatile organic compounds, which definitely present some workplace hazards.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how fundamentally different UV LED tech is compared to solvent. Instead of waiting around for a liquid to evaporate, UV ink is cured instantly using UV light energy. It goes from a liquid to a solid the absolute second the lamp passes over it. And because it cures instantly, it sits right on top of the surface. This is a real game changer because you can print on almost anything: wood, glass, metal, plastics, a lot of times without even needing a primer. It's also super eco-friendly, hitting those Green Guard Gold and UL Eco Logo certifications. But what's the trade-off? Well, it essentially creates a rigid plastic layer on top of the material. It has way lower flexibility than solvent and usually a more matte finish. If you try to stretch it around a tight bumper curve, it's gonna crack. So for contoured graphics, you absolutely have to use high-tack, heat-applied overlaminates.
Because of how that UV ink behaves, we typically see it deployed in 2 distinct types of machines. UV flatbeds are the undisputed kings for rigid boards. You just throw down a sheet of aluminum or plywood, and the instant curing does the rest. Roll-to-roll machines, on the other hand, are designed for your continuous, high-volume flexible materials, like long runs of vinyl or mesh banners. So the choice here really just depends entirely on what kind of substrates an operator is dealing with on a daily basis.
And that brings us to our third contender, Latex Inkjet, the eco-friendly innovator. Pioneered mostly by HP, these are water-based inks that dry incredibly fast using intense heat. It really gives you the best of both worlds in a lot of ways. You get excellent flexibility for things like fabrics, wallpapers, and vinyls, very similar to solvent, but it's virtually odorless with a super low environmental impact. And here's the absolute best part: zero gassing off required. None. Compared to that 48-hour wait with solvent, latex prints come out of the machine totally dry and ready for immediate finishing. The big challenge, though: heat. Latex requires really careful thermal management inside the printer. If the temperature isn't dialed in perfectly for your specific media, you're looking at ink pooling, spreading, or even warping heat-sensitive materials.
Section 3. Choosing your perfect match. Let's look at the ultimate comparison.
When we actually put these three head-to-head, distinct winners really start to emerge based on what you need to do. Just look at the drying methods. UV is instant with light, latex is quick with heat, and solvent is slow, needing that degassing time. For compatibility, UV absolutely dominates the non-porous and rigid space. Solvent rules the roost for ultimate flexibility on coated medias. And latex, it sits right in this perfect sweet spot for highly flexible, eco-friendly roll-to-roll work. Plus, if environmental certs are a strict mandate for your clients, which is super common these days, UV and latex are definitely your go-to choices, leaving the strong chemical smells of traditional solvent in the past. Next up is Section 4, Controlling the Print Environment. This is where we shift focus from the technology straight to the operator.
Look, having the right ink is really only half the battle. You could have a $500,000 state-of-the-art printer, and it will still fail if your shop environment is hostile. For temperature, the golden rule is 20 to 25 degrees Celsius, which is roughly 68 to 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Maintaining this exact temperature range is completely critical for ink viscosity. If your shop drops below this, the ink actually thickens up on you, and that leads to flow issues, nasty nozzle clogs, and slower curing. But if it gets too hot, the ink thins out and runs, giving you messy, totally imprecise prints.
Equally important is this range right here, 40% to 60%. That is your target relative humidity, and hitting it is an absolute necessity. Rapid humidity changes will cause paper jams or uneven ink laydown. If it's too high, you get condensation and substrate warping. But dropping below that 40% mark, that introduces a silent print killer.
So here's the kicker. Drop below 40% humidity, and static electricity completely takes over. For an operator, this is an absolute nightmare. Synthetic substrates like vinyl are usually non-conductive, meaning static charges build up on them and just can't dissipate. This static acts exactly like a magnet. It attracts dust directly onto your pristine media, and even worse, it actively flings those microscopic 1.5 picoliter ink droplets right where you don't want them. It causes these hazy, blurry images. There's nothing more frustrating than an otherwise perfect print being ruined by something completely invisible like static.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what happens when those settings or environments go wrong. On the left side, you're looking at a standard density test plot. Operators print these to visually assess color saturation and check ink limits. But take a look at the image on the right. That is a close-up revealing severe graininess and coalescence. This happens when printed dots aren't evenly distributed or when ink pools together because of, you guessed it, improper thermal settings on a latex machine or maybe incorrect curing intensity on a UV printer. By learning to read these test plots, an operator can adjust the heat, tweak the UV lamp power, or dial back the ink density to troubleshoot these exact defects, long before ruining a 50-foot banner. Finally, we reach Section 5, Optimizing Workflow and Finishing. We're talking maintenance and protection.
Getting a great print is awesome, sure, but safeguarding your equipment and protecting that final product, that's how you actually secure your profitability. Maintenance is not a cost center, it is an efficiency enabler. Just 30 minutes a week of proactive care prevents days of costly downtime. For UV systems, that means carefully cleaning the wiper blades and cap tops with a lint-free cloth. And, this is a big one, agitating the white ink tank so that heavy white pigment doesn't settle and completely clog your lines. And for latex systems, there is a very specific, vital rule you have to follow. If you're manually cleaning, use only distilled water on those print heads. If tap water contacts the nozzles of the electronics, it can cause an instant, catastrophic electrical failure. Now, once that print is safely off the machine, it almost always needs some form of protection. Enter liquid lamination. This turns out to be a really clever modern solution. Instead of rolling on a heavy, expensive plastic PVC film, you apply a clear, water-based coating directly to the printed material, which is then cured using infrared technology. It's highly flexible, it conforms perfectly to complex vehicle curves without tenting, and it hugely reduces waste since you're only coating exactly what you need. It cuts down on PVC usage dramatically, making it a brilliant, cost-efficient, and super eco-friendly finishing alternative.
I really want to leave you with this thought today. The initial selection of ink chemistry establishes a fundamental limit on subsequent process steps. The massive machine you decide to buy today literally dictates the exact workflows, the laminates, and the environmental controls your shop is going to have to live with for years. As sustainability rapidly becomes a non-negotiable demand from clients, how will your next equipment investment define your shop's future? Whether it's the rigid versatility of UV, the eco-flexibility of latex, or the deep stretch of solvent, it's a massive decision. But hey, at least now, you know exactly what's happening down at the microscopic level. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep optimizing those workflows, and we'll see you next time.